He is currently a student at Lux Seymour Academy. He is part of the fellowship program with Critical Exposure, and you can see their photos in the next room, and serves as an intern at Advancement Project. Since joining Critical Exposure, he has been part of the fight for educational justice, working to elevate the school-to-prison pipeline crisis. Just on a personal note, I've had the opportunity to spend some time with this young brother. And you just need to talk to young people. And I mean, you learn so much from them. And, you know, yesterday we had lunch together. And I don't know if the rest of the staff knows, I was watching Zimmerman trial and talking to him, watching and talking to him. And it's important to listen because I learned so much from him in that 30 minutes than I did, you know, all of yesterday. Because he has a story, he has a narrative. He is, you know, we talked about growing up and living in Southeast DC. We talked about Barry Farms. I don't know if anybody knows what Barry Farms is. But public housing development. And he lives near there. And we were talking about that neighborhood. And we were talking about the fact that Orlando has gotten to the point where he's mature enough to know when to walk the other way. That he understands, but that he's got a family, he's got younger brothers that he's got to watch out for too. But that he's not trying to be in the pipeline any longer. And he's trying to make sure that they don't get in the pipeline. And so I am really honored to bring up this young brother who is an inspiration to me.
Yeah, my name is Orlando Armstead. I'm 18 years of age and I attend Luke Seymour Academy. I'm a part of a fellowship program with a DC-based organization called Critical Exposure, where we learn how to take photos and fight for justice in the process for a better future. I am also an intern at Advancement Project. I was born and raised in Southeast Washington, DC, and I'm a brother of 9 other siblings and a father of 1. Beyond that, I am a writer, and I like to write in many styles, rap, poetry, and speak at events like this here today. I have always been the type of student who loves to learn. As a kid, I loved math, English, and history. In fact, I was one of the top 15 students in my elementary school. But when I started high school at Ballou Senior High, I started to give up on school. I did not feel like I was learning anything. One of the reasons is because of me being consistently suspended for the most irrelevant things. The main reasons were many of my teachers did not have control over the classrooms. For example, a teacher might give you a handout sheet, but you maybe don't really understand what it's asking you to do. So you raise your hand for help, but the teacher is occupied by dealing with 2 students who are in a disagreement, or the class is too loud and for her to help anyone. That kind of environment made me very frustrated. At that time, I was also going through things at home, a lot of personal issues. There were times where I didn't have money to get to school, and there were just times I didn't want to go to school because of my appearance, like not having a clean uniform to wear. Believe me, I tried to get help, but when I tried to set up meetings with counselors, the counselors were always too busy. When I tried to get help, I couldn't get help. One day I just quit. I dropped out. I decided to get money the fast way, by hustling, etc. Eventually, in the year I was out of school, I was arrested twice. If I was in school, I wouldn't have been so reckless. There are solutions for other youth like myself that is going through the same situation, not only in DC, but all over this nation, these same exact situations. One solution to students who are disengaged like myself at one point in time is include youth in the decision-making process of how schools are run. One idea that many youth support which will be talked about at this conference today, is implementing restorative justice in schools. Restorative justice is an alternative for suspensions and expulsions. What it does is let students be accountable for their own actions. For example, students get to work out their problems or disagreements that happen in school with staff, parents, peers, or teachers to come to an agreement without anyone being suspended or expelled. I showed you which those alternatives were in school before I was pushed out. Eventually, I had to realize I was just sitting around looking dumb like everyone else. I was always telling my siblings to do right, but I was still doing wrong. That motivated me to enroll back in school at Luke Seymour. That's when I found out about critical exposure. A friend told me about the program, and I thought I'd check it out. The topic that the young people were talking about interested me, and that's the school-to-prison pipeline. I cared about that because I had been in and out of that pipeline, and I wanted to keep myself, my brothers and sisters, and my friends out of there. But after I went a few times, what made me stay at critical exposure was that I felt a whole different vibe. I saw myself in the future being able to make a change. In critical exposure, they had supported us by being there, by helping us look up important people that we might need to follow up with, by sharing information and ideas with us. They support us by letting us decide what we want to do. We need support like this in schools. Instead of just telling us what to do and how to do it, schools should include us in the decision-making process. That's why it is important to implement these positive alternatives into our schools to help in the school-to-prison pipeline. Thank you.